Hi everyone, welcome to the Cucumber tutorial learning session 4. So this is the continuation of my previous tutorial. So in case you haven't watched my previous tutorial, then I would suggest that you watch my previous tutorial. And in this tutorial, we are going to cover the rest of the data-driven testing, how we can achieve it in the Cucumber. Okay. So in the first tutorial that I've covered, that we can do it via the data tables and the raw method, and how we can do it in the data tables and the hash map. So in this tutorial, I'm going to cover how we can achieve it using the POJO class object. Okay, so let's have a look into it. Okay, so that's my feature file that I have covered my earlier tutorial, that how we can pass the data using the step data table. So we have covered two scenarios: single user registrations and multiple user registration using the hash map. Okay, so now in this tutorial we'll be looking into using the POJO class object in the data tables and passing the multiple data at the same time. Okay, so let me just remove this one. Okay, so I've written a simple scenario that will pass the data at the runtime applications from the script data table. So first, when I'm navigating to the particular application registration page, then I'm entering the different set of data row wise, and we will also checking that registration post registration is successful or not. Then after that, if it's successful, and we will be asserting some elements over there, and after that the testing is over, we will close the browser. Okay, so for this we have implemented this class in the step definition mercury. So let me go over it. Okay, so this is the step definition class I have created. So all the syntax like given, when, and then are almost same like previous tutorial. So let me go to this one first. Okay, so this is the, then I enter the valid data on the registration page and check if registration is successful. Okay, so I'm going to check and utilize and passing the data from this step several times into the runtime test applications. Okay, so let me have a look on it. So this is our step that I've implemented. So if you notice, you can see that in the method itself I provide list data details. So in my previous example, I've mentioned like data tables object here, okay. But instead of data table object, I've created one list user data details, okay. That user data is a separate class, and that will hold all the list type entity that I mentioned in the strip data table. So what is the basic fund of the POJO? So POJO stands for plain old Java object. So in that case, the step data table that I have used my scenario, I'll hold that values and parameters in a separate class. Okay, like for that I've created one separate class called user data.java. So in that class, I need to mention the different set of column, that first name, last name, phone, email, username, password, and confirm password that I have mentioned here. All we need to declare here. Okay, so those things I have declared here, and we need to create a constructor. Like we'll create a constructor public user data that will access the string argument. We have defined the string name, and we also need to provide the get set conditions. As of now, for I haven't setting anything, so I'm only considering the get version. Okay, so as only we are providing the fetching the data from the data table and providing the data at the runtime applications, not doing any kind of operation on it. Okay, so this is the plain user data class that will hold all the values of the my runtime strip data table. Okay, so that we can see it. So the constructor will fetch it, and if we in the method, if we call it get first name, so it will return the first name. The first name will get returned from my step data table. Okay, so in that case, now let's go back to my step definition classes. So what exactly we are doing? So instead of creating a data table, I created one user data class that will hold my step data table values and the parameters, and created an object of it. Okay, details. Now in the next step, I'll be defining what is the total size of my user data details object size. Okay, so I told earlier that the size will define by the total number of rows. Okay, so here the total number of rows, if we exclude the column header part, so there are total three number of rows, user data rows. Okay, so total size will be 3 here. Okay, So here we are doing creating one simple object user, and we will be checking if the user is found in the details inside the for each loop, and we are passing that parameter, passing that values from this step variable. Okay, so so first in that line we are printing that user.get first name and user.get last name. So it will print for which user trying to register right now. Okay, and the next steps we are passing the in the first name field, you're passing the same key as user.get first name, and last name field user.get last name, that get phone, get email, get username. That all the things, all that method are mentioned in the user data class itself. Okay, that get first name, get last name, get phone. So this will return the first name, return the readable first name value, last name readable last name value, until the phone, email, username, password will get fixed. Okay, so after passing all those value, I'm clicking on the submit button. So after post submit, I'm doing some assertion to check if the registration is done successfully or not. And after the registration is done successfully, then we are again going back to the registration page to carry out our uh, next user registrations. So okay, let me run it and we'll see. It's taking some time. Okay, so browser got opened and it's navigating to the registration page. I'm filling in the data for the first row. You can submit. Text is great. Going back to the registration again. For the second input, you can submit. And the last time going to the main page, you can submit. Text is great. Sign off. And registration page. Okay. So here is the result. I mean, I just run this scenario. So all you can see, I mean, this successfully passed. I mean, total user is 3. So first user for registering, it will show the name, and it will assert the statement that thank you registering. This statement is getting displayed properly. Then it will come for the second set of user, and it will come for the third user. Okay. So the scenario is covered. This browser got closed. So it's done. So as of now, you have seen that how we can implement it using the POJO, using the step variable, and the using the I just forgot. Let me see. Yeah, uh, using the step variable and using the hash map in the POJO. And the next example, I will show you how we can implement it with the what is the scenario outline and examples, and how to pass data using the scenario outlines. And there's another way we can pass data directly hard coded using the step parameter in the step itself. Uh, I will show you. Okay. Okay. So there's a feature file. Let's There's another feature file I have created. This one is for valid and invalid user login in the Facebook and sign up will be checking. So background as given, I am a basic Facebook user and have credentials. So the first test, it will check user login test when I enter the Facebook URL, go into Facebook page, then enter my valid ID and password. Here I'm passing ID and password as a parameter in the step itself. Okay, and I have declared it the parameter value in the examples keyword. So whenever I'm doing this way, like we are passing the parameter in the step itself, and we are declaring as examples keyword using the examples keywords after the beneath the scenario. So this will consider as a scenario outline. Scenario outline, I mean, whatever the parameter will pass it. Okay, like here in the here in the case we pass two parameters. So the whole scenario will get repeated for this two. I mean, for this two user data. So I mean, if you it will first consider the user data, first user data, and it will loop through the whole scenario. Second, it will consider the second user data and it loop through the whole scenario again. So the difference between that, if we use the scenario outline and normal, just uh, okay. this was two, not this. Yeah. 2, 3. Okay. So the basic difference between the scenario outline and scenario, we can see that whatever the in the scenario is a normal scenario. Whenever I mention the step deletable inside the step, the particular step will get repeated. I mean, whatever the data row have passed, like it will repeat it for thrice. But in case if you want the whole scenario to be repeated for the property result data, then we must need to use that scenario outline using the examples keyword. Okay, so let me go to the this key specifically. Uh, Sorry about the noise. Okay, so this is the steps I have mentioned in the step definition class of Facebook. Okay, so here what we are doing that, I mean, in that step we're basically passing two data, like ideally passing at email field and password at the password field. Okay, so in the email field we are passing the send keys ID, and the password here for the password I have to I mean, in the scenario outline I've taken the password as an encrypted one, and I have decoded it using the password decoder that class have been implemented for another class, PW decryption class I've taken, and realizing that I'm decrypting the encoded password and passing it as a to the password field. Okay, so for the encryptions I have done it using the Apache codec base 64 encoder. That's a separate encrypted file I have created. I will come to it later. I'll cover in the next another session. So this is the password encryption file. So whatever, in case like this is sensitive data or password, if you want to pass, so it's better to pass it as an encoded string that will get decoded utilizing that method. So there is always a two-way. So I have done this way utilizing the importing the Apache common supporting binary base 64. You can also utilize the Java utility base 64 method. Okay. So this will do like base 64 dot get encoder dot encode encrypted password. Two methods are basically there. You can also do it that way. For my case, I am utilizing the base 64, the encode 64 bytes, and I've considered this method, password encryption the driver, and the in this method is the step definition method. I pass two parameters, string ID and string pass. So the string ID and string pass, two parameters I passed. That password parameter here is C. The password is encrypted one. So password decoder dot pass. So the decoded password will get sent as a send keys to the password field. Okay. So if you want to see the declaration of this password decoder, the password decoder will accept as a string key argument and will decode the password. Okay. Uh, Apart from that, the other features like other steps like then we click on the login button. So I'm clicking on the login button. So I'm clicking on the particular login button XPath. I'm waiting for simplicity what I've given, and then home page is displayed. I'm waiting printing that home page element, whatever the text is getting displayed, and I'm printing the same in the console. And then I'm checking the after the post successful login, the logout should not be missing. So I'm putting a soft assertion here like boolean flag. It will include the try catch assertions here, like it will try to find the element. If it is able to find, then it will print that logout button exists, and it will accordingly click on that logout. And after the logout is properly done, I put some assertion, and even after it is successful, then we will close the browser. Okay, so this scenario we will be checking basically user login test for a two scenario, uh, for two different user. Okay, so let me run this first. This is the scenario I will cover it later. Parameterization test. As of now, okay, so run run configurations, my specific feature. Okay, It's showing some null pointer exceptions. Step definitions Java 63. Let me have a look on that. Why it's showing. Listen this to listen this to. Well, it's due to the tag, cause the before and after tag I mentioned here only regression rate 2 tag I've written, and I'm passing this current tag regression test 1. So I have to mention as a pass this tag here. So it will open the browser and it will navigate to the Facebook page. Now it will run successfully, I guess. Let me run it again. Okay, so it's compiling properly. Let's wait for a while. So Firefox browser got opened and Facebook page got loaded, providing the email and password. Click on the login button. Then it will try to find the logout button exists or not and homepage logo exists or not. Let's give it some time. Let me check the console. Yeah, click on the login button. Mm, okay, so it's clicking on the logout and closing the browser. So again, now it will run for the second set of data. Okay, the same scenario will get run, second set of data. So let's wait. Yeah, so another browser got, Facebook got opened in the Firefox browser. It's passing data, different data. And within the home page, and now it will verify the home page display properly or not, and log off should not be missing. Then clicking on log off, and browser got closed. Okay, see, so there are total, total steps is, yeah, sorry, there are total 9 steps, and here the two scenario was there. The first scenario was for, let me full screen it. Okay. Okay. So this was my feature registration tag test one. The scenario outline was this was my scenario outline. So the first set of data, and so it went through the whole scenario again from the starting to end, and check for each and every assertion and validations that I have said. And after the first set of data validation is done, it will again check for the second set of validations, and it will check all the checkpoint and assertion I have set, and accordingly all this will be get printed in the console. Okay, so you can also print it in the report section also, and here I can see that two scenario got passed and total 18 step, and including the total, the amount of time required to pass this. Okay, so um, we have shown, we have seen that how we can send the data utilizing the examples keyword in the scenario outline, and we have seen that how we can send the data using the step data table, using hash map, using POJO class, using single set of data using step data table. So my suggestion will be, if you have several data need to be passed in your test script, and which is required to loop all through your scenario from starting to end, then it's good to use the scenario outline and examples keyword. Okay, so utilizing that, your whole scenario, that whole scenario outline will be, I mean, the whole scenario will get repeated from starting to end. But if you use that way, like hash map, anything, step table, then only that step will get repeated. Okay, so be aware of the difference. Another example which I was about to show you. Okay, so another example was, yeah. So there another way we can pass the data as a parameter in the step itself. Like in my case, I am trying to log in entering the Facebook URL and went to the Facebook homepage. I'm trying to enter some invalid ID and invalid password. Okay, I'm trying to click on the login button. So it won't allow me to log in. Rather, it will show me some recover your account if you provide the invalid data, right? So I need to verify or check that this option, recover your account options will get displayed if you provide the invalid data, and after that we'll close the browser. So, so let me show you first this statement. Like when I'm entering my invalid email ID and password, that dummy at the test.com and dummy123 is the password, this is the email user ID. Okay, so this has been done using the regular expression check. Okay, so either you can create your own regular expression, or if you create some feature file, just try to pass it, and it will the prompt will give you an options to put this directly, copy paste those directly from the console to the step different classes. You can also have it that way. Okay, so either you can create, or you can just copy paste the same thing. If you run a first time feature file, you can get it from the console window. Okay, so what I'm doing here, so in that case, I'm passing driver. I'm finding the element as the email by XPath and sending as the ID. The ID I mentioned here, the passing as a string ID and string password to parameter I passed here. So in the first case, I'm passing as a ID in the email field and the password field in the, and the passing the password parameter in the password field. Okay, so it will pass the dummy123, and it will also pass the dummy at the test.com email ID at the email ID sections. Okay, and apart from this, let's see about the below steps there. And clicking on the login button, so if you click on the login button, it will wait for 2 seconds. Provide a template select to wait timeout, and in the then recover your account will get displayed. So in that case, it will navigate. I'm provided the implicit timeout for 3 seconds, and it will check for the web element tooltip. Yeah, I'm trying to. I'm taking one tooltip web element, which will have the expert below expert. Then I am verifying that if the tooltip is displayed properly, like recover your. Tooltip is displayed properly. Then we'll be fetching the tooltip text. And if it is not getting displayed, like if you provide some valid password, then you should not expect that recover your account options will be displayed. So in that case, so it will bypass, and it will give you your options like the valid user ID, and the test script will fail. In the test script, we need to expressly check the invalid user login, right? So, so this is the steps, different steps I mentioned. So it will fetch, go through the, clicking on the provided the invalid data and click on the login button. It will check if the tooltip is, this tooltip is exists. It will face the tooltip text. You can also put the assertion here. It will also fill the case. For my case, I put it the soft assertion here. So depending on your requirements, you can put the assertion also. Okay, the JUnit or test change assertion, whatever you want, you can put. And then what I'm doing, I'm closing the browser. So just it's a simple thing, just browser closing, because whatever the thing I've already mentioned in the after class. The after class scenario will be written as a finished scenario that will be incorporated in the report sections. And if the scenario is failed due to any some sort of a native failure, application failure, then it will take the screenshot and get stored into the report sections. And the test environment got tested, driver will get post and driver will get quit. Okay, so just let me check, whether we are getting the same or not. Okay, so regression test 2, I need to mention the tag here also. For currently we are running this before and after class for this tag. Hold on. Yeah, so if you run my class feature, my Facebook feature, so let's see what's gonna happen. So it's showing that valid invalid is the login into Facebook and sign up. This is the feature file I'm going to run. So it's waiting for the browser to open. Mm, it's loading the URL. Okay, so URL loaded successfully. Then it will provide the dummy data. And click on the login button. Okay, okay. So see, I mean, if you enter the invalid password, then you are seeing some red message like. Let me go to you. I mean, if you not this one, let me just log out first. Mm. If you provide some dummy data, click on the login. So the password that you have entered is incorrect. Forgotten password. I am seeing this as a, I mean, in this tooltip, I am actually validating. This thing should get displayed if you provide the invalid password. Okay. So in my case, what I have seen that, let me full screen. Okay. So that was my feature file. Okay, the feature file, whatever the location has been given, and what are passing here for each and every feature associated steps, and whatever the step has been mentioned, it also given step description, Facebook navigate, I mean the method also given here. So it's passing the invalid data as a dummy test and dummy 123, and the click on the login button, then recover your account option should display. It is successfully get displayed, so, and then browser is getting closed. So the one scenario is there and total 7 steps, so it get passed. Okay, uh, let me put it back. Uh, Here one keyword I would like to tell, the background keyword. The background keyword will be same for all the features, same for all the scenario under that feature. Okay, so background will be same. Like given I have a Facebook user, I have credentials. So you maybe have you may have some valid or invalid credentials. So background will be same for the feature file, and for all the scenario or scenario outline under this feature file, it is applicable. I mean background will be applicable for all. Okay, so we have seen so how so we have seen as of now the how we can achieve the data-driven testing in the Cucumber. First we are utilizing the data tables and raw method, considering a list and list of string, and creating a data and passing the data as data.draw. And the second thing I have shown you that how we can utilize it, do it again using the hash map, the same, but in that case we are in that case in the previous case we don't have any header column, but utilizing the hash map we are having multiple values with the header column. We can passing the data into the runtime applications. Okay, another thing we can do as creating one class object and passing the data through the class object, POJO class object. Okay, and then we can also pass the data using the examples in the scenario outline. We need to mention one data, I mean we need to provide some parameter in the step as well. Then whatever the parameter we have passed, we need to provide the parameter value in the examples keyword under the below table. Okay, another way we can pass the without using examples and just passing as a step parameter. So the hard coded value I have given, so it's not recommended to pass the hard coded value. Suggestion would be go with the scenario outline. If you want to have some repeated scenario need to be checked for multiple data, then go with the scenario outline. And if you only need some step to be repeated for multiple data, then go with the any of this will be fine. Like for POJO, take hash map, anyone will be fine. Okay, so apart from this, we can also utilize the parameterization using utilizing the Excel, JSON, or XML files. So you can also pass data using the external data files. Like we can utilize the Excel sheet or JSON or XML files. That will cover in the another sections. We will be needing some Excel configurator to fetch the Excel data from the Excel, and we will be needing some Apache POI file, API file that will fetch the Excel data. That will help us to fetch the Excel data. So I mean, for Cucumber bit paste, my suggestion will be go for not to go for the parameterization utilizing the Excel JSON or from any external file, because we are already having several methods that have already been incorporated in the Cucumber, right? So in case we are already discussed about the five method that we can use to pass single data या multiple data for one loop या multiple loops. So better we should go for this one, okay? But it depends on the requirement. If your requirement wants you to pass data from the Excel, then you can also pass it. So I'll cover it in the next sessions. That is just considering the Selenium driver Excel configurations. We need to create a separate file. So uh, um, as of now, we're done with the data driven part in the Cucumber. So if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you. Thank you for watching.